Ahoy there, my friends, and welcome to the fourth. Ahoy! What happened to me over the weekend? Nobody knows. I'm just really glad that you're here. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Okay, and that you navigated the time change successfully. So let's take a look. I got to take a look at some of the local media here as we get started today. The absolute obsession with former Governor Kristi Noem, now Homeland Security. Here we go. Taxpayer backed credit card use rose with Kristi Noem's national profile. So there's an obsession on this story. There is an obsession on this story coming from some in the media, and you're seeing it here. The Dakota Scout, they're on top of that story, as well as Sioux Falls Live. I want to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. No, hold on. So I'm going to stop sharing that one, and I will. It's the same story. It's being presented over and over again. So now we go to Sioux Falls Live, and here we go. Former Governor Kristi Noem's security costs grew with national profile. A lot of these stories are being shared. We got several different news outlets in the Sioux Falls area. These are local news outlets, and what you will see, they're like being orchestrated by one big hive kind of mentality. And I kind of shake my head over this. Because they got some other stories that I think are interesting. For instance, this story here, you see assaults on Sioux Falls police and JDC. Actually, am I using my ad blocker? I'm not so sure that I am. Let's check that. Refresh this for you. Here we go. The reporting on incidents involved with, suspects firing guns at law enforcement and what's going on with this, that you're seeing more and more of this kind of thing. I think those are certainly more significant stories than the governor's credit card use. Again, that has been going on for a number of weeks, that they've been digging into this. Over at South Dakota Searchlight, look at the number. How many times can you count and see Donald Trump's name in the headlines? Trump, 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 Trump. These people. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Donald Trump is like the worst thing that's ever happened to this state. So a grant that would have fed thousands on South Dakota Native American reservation lost to the Trump cuts. All of this, the South Dakota Searchlight is the worst. Oh, man, it's absolutely incredible, but it's all of this, obsession with Kristi Noem. Haven't they had long enough to be able to show to be able to share that story? If there was some wrongdoing going on there, I don't know what it is. It's the same thing with Donald Trump. You see these folks, they just become obsessed. And I just kind of look back at that and I'm like, man, what kind of water are you? What's in your water that makes you this way? This is just like so crazy. You kind of look at those kinds of things. It's pretty crazy. Steve is asking, this is a common question from Steve. When are you going to start caring about democracy? Yes, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. All right, I've got some other, now, just our local media. Still obsessed with Kristi Noem, even though she's moved on. And again, if this were such a big story, they wouldn't be putting it out there only for subscribers. And you would see when these other agencies, as they get these big stories, they want to get them out there, so they'll start sharing them free of charge to everybody. And it's just, can we lose the obsession over Kristi Noem and her credit card and whatnot? I mean, barring some just really big, it's just absolutely incredible how these guys operate. There are a few other stories I wanted to share with you. Well, we're talking about Donald Trump, which seems to be all the obsession over at South Dakota Searchlight. Georgia's reimbursement bill would allow Donald Trump to recover costs. Take a look at this. They unanimously passed a bill on Thursday that would allow Trump and 18 co-defendants to seek compensation for legal fees in cases where a prosecutor is disqualified. That measure came after Fani Willis was removed. So now they passed a bill in the Georgia Senate that would allow Donald Trump and his co-defendants to seek legal reimbursement. Oh, I would be lying if I didn't tell you I love that. I absolutely love that. The vice president is talking. He shared this on X, and some folks that were following him around. And this was from over the weekend. And he said, today while walking my 3-year-old daughter, a group of these protesters followed us around and shouted as my daughter grew increasingly anxious and scared. So he says, I decided to speak with the protesters in the hopes that I could trade a few minutes of conversation for them leaving my toddler alone. And he said, nearly all of them agreed. It was mostly a peaceful conversation. But if you're chasing a 3-year-old as part of a political protest, well, you can, that's the kind of person the vice president thinks you are. That story is trending, but that is just like crazy. Seriously. I am, folks who think that they have got to follow the vice president around and he's with his 3-year-old daughter, and you think that's an appropriate time then to accost him, or, that is, it just kind of blows my mind. You wonder where we live in a really upside down world. And we were talking at the end of the program this morning about Elon Musk and his Joe Rogan. Have any of you watched that Joe Rogan interview that Rogan interviewed Elon Musk last week? Have you seen that? I have not seen it yet. And I'm very intrigued as to what Musk was saying. But Musk was saying how he is, in fear of his safety, given what they are uncovering and what's transpiring, and he's concerned about his own personal safety. And you've got to worry about that. Then when you see stories like this with J.D. Vance talking, he and his 3-year-old are out there, and his 3-year-old is nervous, and she's 3. So she's nervous, she's upset, she doesn't know what's going on. Man, it's just, this country really needs we've completely lost our balance overall. I hate seeing stuff like that. It's really heartbreaking. Okay, this also is a story that's trending this morning from yournews.com. A confidential legal agreement obtained by the Oversight Project has exposed a coordinated effort among 14 Democratic-led states, left-wing organizations, and major law firms in New York to challenge, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and its head, Elon Musk. So the agreement was signed outlines a strategy to wage legal battles aimed at obstructing Musk's efforts to cut government waste and reduce federal spending. And that's the thing I think that everybody absolutely needs to understand is that if you think that making these cuts is going to be easy, and that that those who have infiltrated the federal government and are doing these things, if you think that they are just now going to, oh, I guess it's over, let's just move on, and I don't think so. I mean, we have deep-seated, widespread corruption that Doge has been pointing out. And it's no surprise that Elon Musk fears for his life. These folks are patriots. Mark Levin was talking about it on his show. He was, how Elon Musk, he's saying, he's different. I've tried to be kind and say he's a different kind of cat. He clearly, he thinks differently in a much different way than I do, and in a lot more intelligent, brilliant than I am. He's a different kind of cat. But what he has been doing with the Department of Government Efficiency, I feel like America owes him our thanks and gratitude as much as we do to Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump that recognized this in conversations and then just, turns Elon Musk loose. But it's absolutely incredible. I think this guy's a hero. I really do. And there are a number of things I disagree with him about, but when it comes to rooting out the cancer within our federal government, the guy is just absolutely incredible. There was one other story along those lines as we're talking about Doge, and Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, is canceling 83% of U.S. AID's programs. Let's see what is going on. So they did a 6-week review of the programs. And this is, I'm not sure who this is. Is this coming from Rubio? Yeah. After a 6-week review, they're canceling them. The 5,200 contracts that are now canceled spent tens of billions of dollars in ways that did not serve, and in some cases even harmed the core national interests of the United States. So in consultation with Congress, we intend for the remaining 18% of programs we are keeping, about 1,000, to now be administered more effectively under the State Department. Thank you to Doge and our hardworking staff who work very long hours to achieve this overdue and historic reform. This is absolutely crazy. So 83% of the programs at USAID out of here. They are out of here. They're gone. So we talk about the threats then to Doge, to Elon Musk, to, I think, all of this administration. Seriously. These kind of cuts, I fear for the safety of all of these folks, for the president, obviously, after we've seen a couple of assassination attempts against Donald Trump. And part of what's concerning about that, no details. Isn't that amazing? Assassination attempt against the president, and, well, at that time, candidate for president. He was not president at the time, running for president, likely to win. Couple of assassination attempts, and very few details that you and I have heard. I mean, what happened? Where's the lack of transparency? And now that Donald Trump is president and he's moved forward on this, I know Peter Doocy asked him about this a few days ago. I think the president spoke about it. Was it Thursday or Friday of last week? He talked about this, wanting the report to be forthcoming, and he intends to share it. So we'll share the report. and I'll be amazed if there's anything in it. If there is anything of substance in it, I'm going to be amazed. And that's not faulting this administration. It is just recognizing that the swamp that we are witnessing is deep, man. It is deep, and these folks are determined. And they were talking about this a little bit this morning with Christy Noem, talking about the leaks that they're currently having within the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security, and you got people who are leaking where they plan to conduct raids and what they'll be doing, trying to alert people so they can avoid federal authorities. I mean, we have got some serious problems in our federal government when we've got that kind of thing taking place. And that is not just over, one. I'm not blaming all of that on Joe Biden. This is something that has occurred over years and generations, that we have seen the federal government grow and grow and grow and just feed off of the American people. And so when you have people who come along and want to put a stop to it, and they want to return the government to the people, this is what you see. You're going to see, if not more assassination attempts, and I fear those. If not more assassination attempts, you're going to be, it's just more of the same, I think, as we uncover what's going on. So I really, man, I'm so appreciative of the work of Doge and Elon Musk, and I believe he's a patriot. Disagree with him on a number of things, but I think when it comes to this, when it comes to wanting to cut the spending and the, what's going on in the federal government and people preying and on the federal government and on you and me, just absolutely incredible. I think these folks really deserve a round of applause for all the work they're doing. I'm trying to see if you've got any comments that I wanted to touch on. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll leave it there for this morning. Thanks so much for letting me join you. As always, I really appreciate it. I hope you take care. Hope to see you again soon. Please come back tomorrow. If you would, you made it to the end of the video. You're part of my gallery of champions. So if you could bring along a friend or two, I would very much appreciate that. We'll leave it there for today. Have a great Monday. See you again tomorrow, my friend. So long.